We're back live on the beat, live from New York. Our good friend, former Congressman and CPA Joe DioGuardi.
On this issue of cooking the books, just to make a point, people don't have to read the whole book, Unaccountable Congress. It doesn't add up. All they have to do is go on the website, www.truthandgovernment.org, and look at the 100 articles I've written. But in particular, look at the one that I wrote June 23rd, 2003, specifically, exclusively for the National Law Journal. 30,000 attorneys, because people were calling me after they heard a speech saying, that the government is cooking the books. There's a public law in the books since 1956 calling for accrual accounting. Congress has refused to implement it. 4 presidents has called for it. So I decided to write this specifically for the National Law Journal. Why? Because I figured they would vet it, and if there was any issue with anything I said, they would then say, Joe, we cannot publish this. Well, guess what? They didn't change one word. And here it is, cooking the nation's books. And I start off by saying, many clever devices were used by Enron to create artificial earnings and to hide debt on a massive scale. Chief among them was a series of off-balance sheet partnerships referred to as special purpose entities. And I go on to explain, guess what? We have them right here in the United States of America. They're called government-sponsored enterprises like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and also 30 other wholly-owned corporations that are off the books, including the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation. We need a massive audit, and it has to be by outside auditors that we could trust. I can tell you that. The bureaucracy is killing us right now, and they're not doing the job. And this issue of the VA is one big example of what may be going on in every one of these 29 departments and agencies that all have to be separately audited. Now, they say we've got the GAO, that's the Government Accountability Office, but, they march to the tune of Congress. They are organized by Congress. The Comptroller General himself is a pretty good guy because he's got a 15-year term. You can't fire him. You got to impeach him to get rid of him. That means, he's got to be a pretty good guy to survive that, and he is. Most times they're CPAs. The problem is that we don't understand how the system works, and we need to make sure.
Does anybody in Washington understand how this government works? I look at this and go, just like you're alluding to here or you're sharing with us, look, we've got the Office of Budget Oversight, or whatever the heck it's called, the government, OMB. You got all the inspector generals, right?
Right.
You've got all these special investigations that go on. But, Joe, but it's a continual – I don't ever hear, okay, we've fixed it. But see, because, the missing part is no one ever gets fired. When someone gets fired and punished – for not doing their job, then that's going to change, because that's the one component in the private sector, right? You could get fired, you could lose your pension, and you could never get a job again.
Well, going back to the VA, now we know that this Kinsheki was a good man. He served well. He was appointed to this position. But can you imagine someone like that, after these reports coming out, still being in charge of a corporation? And here Obama has not yet made the decision that, everybody's calling for now, Democrats and Republicans, that the guy needs to be removed.
Now, hold it. Let's back up, because you've been there, done that. So I want to ask you a couple questions here. How do we know that this man who was approved for this job had the specific skills and experience to manage this massive, complex bureaucracy with all its existing problems that he knew about and we knew about when he took over? How do we know that?
No, we don't know except by instinct. That we know that many people get appointed to these positions because they have political patronage, they have friends in high places, or it just looks good, and it gets back to politics as usual. This is the problem. We're not hiring the best people. We're spending trillions of dollars, and we've got, at best, fair to middling people managing this money at every level of government. And this is what's killing America.
Well, I agree with you. I brought that up this morning. Right now in Washington, do you know what's going on in the Congress? A debate about giving federal workers a raise.
Oh, boy.
Again, they already got one in January. I guess this is the one they're going to get after June. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? We got the post office in the tank. You got the VA that's a mess. You got the federal government as a whole that is a mess. You can go public institution by public institution, yet, one, they can't be fired for how they've gotten us into this mess, the mediocrity and failure and dysfunctionality. But secondly, they're going to get a raise?
But you know what the good news is? I'm gaining on them. I am not quitting. I am persistent.